He is the destroyer of the mushroom, a man moved by a parent's love, the emissary from hell, Spider-Man! That's right, it's the 1970s, Japanese Spider-Man, baby!
Spider-Man.
It was in the later part of the 1970s that Marvel Comics made a deal for a 3-year licensing agreement with the Toei company in Japan. The deal was simple. Both companies could use the other's properties in any way they wanted. What followed was Toei Company's unique take on Spider-Man. Now, originally, Spider-Man was supposed to appear as a guest on a different show that Toei was creating, and that he would be largely unchanged. It would be the Spider-Man that we know, just, hey, he exists in this world. However, the show never came to be, and instead, Toei reworked their own version of the Spider-Man character. The deal said that the properties could be used in any way that Toei wanted. So instead of having Spider-Man be a photographer who was bitten by a radioactive spider, Toei went a different route. And I'm gonna apologize right now. These are all Japanese names. I'm probably gonna butcher them. One day a UFO falls from the sky. Dr. Hirisho Yamashiro goes to investigate the crash, but he's not the only one that arrives. And he's killed by Dr. Monster and his army of aliens known as the Iron Cross Army, who have the plan to rule the galaxy, of course. Dr. Yamashiro's son, Takuya, who is a professional motorcycle racer, goes to investigate what happened to his father. Finding the crashed ship, he meets the only survivor from the planet, Spider. The alien gives him a special bracelet that gave him access to the Spider Protector suit. After giving him an injection of the Spider extract, Spider-Man is also given all of the same powers as the regular Spider-Man. Super strength, spider sense, wall crawling. And he could also call the crashed ship, known as the Marveler, and transform it into the giant robot, Loveland, during battles. Using his new powers, Takuya would fight against Dr. Monster's evil alien army, as well as other threats in Japan. Most episodes featured Spider-Man fighting against the foot soldiers of the Iron Cross Army in a Monster of the Week. There, it would be a lot of dramatic posing and slapping people in the face. Most episodes ended with the monster growing large and Spider-Man having to battle inside of Loveland. Strangely enough, though, even though he was sitting in the cockpit console, he never actually seems to drive the robot. It's just a lot of hand gestures and shouting the commands out. Most monsters seem to have one real weakness too, throwing a massive sword at them, which is oddly enough one of my weaknesses as well. Now, you can't get any farther away from the origins of Spider-Man than in this show, which many fans would point out. It should be noted, however, that everyone at Marvel seemed to really like the originality that Toei showed with their idea. There was a little pushback when the giant robot was introduced, but giant robots were huge in Japan at the time, and it made it very easy to sell toys to kids. Because let's be honest, kids love giant robots. I mean, hell, I love giant robots. Spider-Man was crazy over in Japan, featuring some bizarre and dark storylines that featured murder, monsters, random suicides, and dummies of all shapes and sizes being thrown off high places. The series debuted in May of 1978 and it ran for a total of 41 episodes and a whole TV movie. The series ended in 1979. After it ended, Japanese Spider-Man seemed to fade into the strange history of Marvel Comics. Of course, the character would return in the Spider-Verse comics, aiding the Spider-Mans of the multiverse in their war with the vampire-like inheritors. Someone would even point out that it seemed weird him not using his giant sword at the beginning of the fight. But of course, we all know, there is no honor in that. Also, for fun fact, they've just announced a toy of Japanese Spider-Man, which I fully intend to put into my collection. So I don't know about you guys. It's very interesting. I love old Japanese shows like Godzilla, Super Sentai, all of these kinds of things. So this is kind of a big thing for me, watching the original Japanese Spider-Man. So yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about this? I know he's gained a little bit of popularity due to Spider-Verse. People always like to talk about Takuya and his giant Loveland. It's Lapardo or something like that. The accent they use with it is a bit off, so the pronunciation on Loveland is kind of off. I don't think they say the N in the actual show. Let me see. I've got the actual trailer playing right now. The opening cutscene where he talks and summons it. Laparda. That's what he says in the opening. Dylan could probably just play you guys the opening title credits for this if he wants to. It's interesting. You got to see it. It's fun.
Change the apart.